Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter 5,000 at checkout. That's harrys.com, code 5,000. Enjoy.
And just like that, they buy it. They eat it up. You pander to them, you thank them. I mean, really, people, I thought you were a little bit smarter than that. I mean, it's just so easy to say the name of the city. You cheer.
Hey, Stephanie,
you cheer. I mean, just come on.
Welcome to the A Show.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the A Show with the Kings of Pro Wrestling Podcast. I am Justin with my co-host Meelz. What's going on, Meelz? What's popping?
Listen. First of all, gotta talk. I don't know why I did the. But I feel, you know what? After last week's episode, I feel really, really good.
Yeah, last week's episode was one of our most popular episodes. I think
it's an all-timer. I would think
it's an all-timer. I think just since 50, we've just been on a roll, and this is kind of like a, not like you should turn the show off, but this is kind of like a chill, like a chill episode. No guests, nothing super special today. We're just gonna talk wrestling today. But last week we had Alexis Littlefoot on, and she was just the realest.
She was the realest in the room. I mean, man, just everything that she said and people just responding to it. We got a lot of great feedback from that episode. Some people, you know what, didn't fully agree with some of the things that she said, but they did respect how actually real she was in terms of just saying the things that she said. So, I thought last week's episode was fucking amazing. If you have not checked it out, please go check out last week's episode. I mean, Crown Jewel Evolution already happened, so you have that. But we talk about just so much stuff that it's just, I think it's just great content in general.
Yeah, for sure. It was absolutely an incredible episode. We just had a bunch of really great, episodes just in a row. Where I feel like we're hitting a stride,
Right. How are you doing in the middle of moving?
Oh man, I've in this past week I've had a cracked tooth. That's what was wrong with me last week. I've had a cracked tooth. I've had
a cracked tooth, so
I've started a new job. So it's just been whirlwind. This whole month has been whirlwind. I think by next week it's going to slow down again. So very, very excited for that to happen.
Well, listen, and it's going to slow down. Not to mention, holiday season is coming up. I mean, after Halloween, we got to look forward to Thanksgiving and Christmas and all that other stuff.
I went to Target the other day. They skipped Thanksgiving altogether. They're straight there. They have Christmas.
They're going straight to Christmas?
Yeah, they said, fuck.
I mean, Christmas is way more bankable than Thanksgiving, so I don't even blame them.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, you could really get off something in a week. It's really for food and stuff like that. But, Christmas, all right, you know what? And I'm sure if I go in the Herald Square Macy's in New York City, they're going to be playing Mariah Carey.
It's Christmas time there.
All day. So, it is what it is.
But let's get into the show, man. We got a lot to talk about. This episode in particular, I want to touch on something on No Holds Barred this week, and that is NXT Talk. That's a show that we don't spend a lot of time on. We usually talk about it if there's huge things happening, but I'd say that these past 2 weeks in NXT or these past week in NXT has been pretty big, huh?
I think it's been, the whodunit with who managed to get Aleister Black out the paint, and now he's returned. And the reveal last week, Wednesday, that it was Johnny Gargano.
Yes, and I think a lot of people were kind of confused with that. I think the NXT social accounts have made it blatantly clear that it was Johnny. Mm-hmm. I some people still think it's a swerve. I'm like, nah, I don't think there's anything to come out of that.
Deep. You know what? I haven't seen a good swerve since really the Russo era. Mm-hmm. Like a swerve that's just something that makes sense, and then adding in something that completely doesn't support the fact at all, like Rikishi somehow running over Stone Cold. Like nothing to swerve of that magnitude. So I don't think we can expect that. Mm-hmm. But it's kind of interesting sort of thinking about this way, especially how Johnny Gargano is, and it's kind of supporting everything that Tommaso Ciampa has kind of, really been preaching over. So it's kind of, it's weird because it's making the hero that we all want to see win become deeper and deeper into the villain. And I'm interested in seeing how this will play out for the next few months.
Yeah, I am too. I think immediately, and I mean, I just think that the storyline itself has been excellently built up. I think just from having a 2 month, this is a tape show. So we've had to wait for 2.5, 3 months for the reveal. I know a lot of people, or a couple people, were probably upset. And I say, who else could it have been? I just really don't no one else. You don't make a guy this. You don't introduce a guy as this, because then that guy has to lose. Right. Ultimately, Aleister has to get his comeuppance, whether he's chasing Johnny or, he beats Johnny. But I think ultimately it was the best move they could have made. I think it's going to make way for what I've been saying should happen for a while. I think what the money, the real money program is to have Aleister and Velveteen team up.
Ooh. Huh.
And I saw that they were, spreading these seeds for this type of program when Velveteen went for the title. And I said, okay, they're definitely going to do it, because that handshake, that team up, that's going to be the biggest thing in NXT in years to me.
Well, all right. So here's what we have, and I'll say this, and I'll raise you that. Announced sometime earlier this month, probably before we recorded the last episode, there is going to be an NXT tag team match of epic proportions at Madison Square Garden. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It will feature the Undisputed Era and Tommaso Ciampa. So that's all 4 members of the Undisputed Era. That means Bobby Fish is back in the fold.
Yes, sir.
Which I think he had a great showing on NXT last week as well. I mean, even just putting the stomps to EC3, or maybe that was the week before, but he looks to be really back in prime form.
Yeah, it was last week, because the EC3 thing was to write him off so that it couldn't have been him. I think a lot of people were thinking it was him, and I like that they did that, because it's he can't be a guy that's not on the show.
Right. The Undisputed Era and Tommaso Ciampa versus the team of Johnny Gargano, Aleister Black, the Velveteen Dream, mm-hmm. Dunn, and Ricochet. Mm-hmm. Now, to me, that's just, I'm there. Yeah. I'm there just to see that match, honestly. I'm really considering very strongly buying these tickets. It's so crazy.
You should.
But it's just that sort of, I mean, we have that coming up in a few months. I'm assuming we might see this Aleister Black and Velveteen Dream collaboration tag team coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm completely with that. I think Evil DIY versus Black and Dream, that lets the NXT title rest for a second and makes Tommaso not a transitional champion, because I've always felt like that was something that wasn't going to last very long for him. And I think you have him hold it till January. I don't know if you hold it till Mania weekend, but I think you do that until the January one in Phoenix, January takeover in Phoenix. And that's money right there. And I'm a little less convinced Alistair will be getting the belt back, but I'm more convinced that this is the program going forward, and Dream is going to be firmly entrenched into the top tier at that point.
I really hope so. I think he sort of deserved it. I think it's he's been wrestling a little bit on the indies, but it's rare to have like one of these actual WWE developmental guys, someone who came through the system, someone who came up through the system, someone who learned, a lot. And I stress again that I'm very aware that, Velveteen had a brief stint on the independents as well, and also learned wrestling a bit as well. But it's very rare you get these like WWE product stars. Usually it's the guy from outside who comes in with the namesake and popularity, rises to the top. But I'm interested in seeing if Velveteen Dream can really be the one who captures the NXT championship. Absolutely,
I think that it's also well deserved, and this will give him the type of experience that he needs, so to speak. I think that hanging with these three guys, you can't go wrong. I think Alistair absolutely made Lars a better wrestler from their program together, and I'm just really excited to see if they really go through with it. But I think
and I think it'll instill a leadership quality within him as well.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's someone who, it's not all about the performance of yourself during these matches, but it's how well you can bring up your opponent as well, or how well, So I think that's also when you put Velveteen into that sort of, upper echelon of NXT, I think that becomes, a little bit part of it as well. But yeah, I mean, NXT is looking great. Gosh, is there anything that we have to look forward to on,
Yeah, Matt Riddle this week. Matt Riddle will be debuting on NXT TV. I'm guessing this is going to be the start to the Cassius Ohno program. And the TakeOver War Games card is starting to kind of build out. And we'll talk about the women's match in a few minutes, but it's looking like it's going to be the War Games match, which is the Undisputed Era versus Pete Dunne, and the War Raiders, and there's one more. Who's the last one? Ricochet, right?
It's got to be Ricochet.
Well, they haven't announced it yet, so if I get it wrong, fuck it. It's looking like it's going to be Aleister Black and Johnny Gargano for sure at this point, and it's looking Velveteen, Tommaso, and Cassius Ohno and Matt Riddle. So that's a crazy card, bro. That is a Los Angeles level card.
Listen, and you better hope to be there. I'm hoping you're there. You better be there. How about that?
Bro, I'm not going to be there. I'm going to be going home. I haven't gone home in 2 years.
Oh, what the hell? The greatest card in history.
Yeah, I know.
But you know what? It is what it is. You got to go home sometimes.
You got to go home, bro. I have to go home. Sorry, man. But
Virginia needs you.
I haven't been home in 2 years, bro. I got to go home, dog. My mom misses me. My mom misses me. My sister misses me. I got to do it. Next up on the slate this week, John Cena says, "Fuck off" to Crown Jewel. He is not on the show. They wrote him off. They wrote him off so lazily on Raw this week. How do you feel about? And then after that, a new video came out on the blast of John Cena basically saying he's fine with not working the full-time schedule. He's lost 20 pounds. He's grew his hair out. He feels healthy. Is this the beginning of really John Cena kind of riding off into the sunset? We only see him like maybe once a year, or maybe we won't see him in 2019 at all.
I think this is the start of John Cena prioritizing a career. Well, yeah, in terms of just prioritizing his career potentially post WWE over what's going on right now, because there is under no situation. I don't even think 10 years ago you could have got John Cena off of the show, even if this sort of situation happened. Because he's so dedicated, he's so steadfast in terms of being the guy and supporting the company and being the company guy and all of that. But I think with the Saudi Arabia thing, with that sort of issues, it brings up a very compromising situation for the WWE. And shortly after our show last week, they announced, yes, we're still going to Saudi Arabia due to business fulfillments, despite everything that sort of happened. But I think with John Cena, it affects more of his potential movie career, in my opinion. just being, aligned with that. And then I also think he just doesn't agree to it at all. He just doesn't want to go. I think there's a large part. I think more so than the movie thing, a large part of it is like, I'm not going. Like, I just don't feel comfortable. I don't think this is right. I'm not going. And I'm sure WWE is just like, okay, all right, listen.
He's not gonna. They're not. What are they gonna do? Bury him? Like getting too shit to him.
And I'm sure that's what John and Brian are on the phone. Like, what are they gonna do? Fire me? Like, what is this? Like, I'm John.
And speaking of Crown Jewel, I said this last week, and I still remain steadfast in this. I really am not looking at this show, especially now after SmackDown. I'm not looking at this show.
It's not much.
It's not much of a show. You're right. I am not. I don't think we should touch on this show very much. It's pretty much a 3-match show at this point. With the tournament in between. Let's just kind of touch the card really quick and just get over this. I'm really ready for the show to be over. I
am too. I only say that because I feel like, especially considering the Raw and SmackDown shows this week and what we got from them, I think Crown Jewel is really holding up what everyone's anticipating, which is Survivor Series this year. A lot of the programs need to be wrapped up at Crown Jewel before we can go on to Survivor Series, especially when it comes down to championship matches. This World Tournament, it's just whatever. It's really, it's just something for the show. And this DX and Brothers of Destruction thing, everyone's kind of hoping they just leave all 4 of them in Saudi Arabia at this point. But yeah, I mean, let's talk about the card, really.
Yeah. First up, the World Cup tournament. Seth Rollins, Bobby Lashley, Kurt Angle, Dolph Ziggler, Jeff Hardy, The Miz, Rey Mysterio, Randy Orton. It was said on SmackDown that if a SmackDown guy loses the finals, he'll be fired from Shane McMahon. I'm not sure.
That makes no sense.
Yeah, I'm not sure why. And we'll get to this on SmackDown too. It just seems like him and Paige aren't in the same room or in the same area at all. Not sure what
like the season of Martin.
Yeah, it's weird. And but I mean, I guess we'll figure out that stipulation when it comes. But who do you think is going to win this? A SmackDown guy has to win this at this point.
At this point, I guess a SmackDown guy has to win it. I'm going to go and say that Jeff Hardy wins.
I'll say Orton because I think that there's a natural feud there with Orton and Shane. If that's what, and it's like you keep Orton away from the title picture and anything else. Because the thing is, I feel like the only person you'd have him face is Ray. I think he's earmarked for 2 feuds coming out of this, and I don't think Orton is one of them. And Nakamura, who's a heel too, and Orton has stayed away from him specifically in the past 3 months. So I'll go with Randy Orton.
I think I'm gonna go with Jeff Hardy, but this entire tournament itself. I guess it's just supposed to be fun. I'm not really supposed to like it.
Or you have Orton lose, and that you can still get to the feud that way with Shane.
I'm good on the Orton, but you know what? I don't want to say that because Orton's been in his very sicko mode as of late. Shane McMahon's, hasn't really dived off anything in quite some time. It's been we're counting on probably like 6 months since he dived off anything.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something that we have to look forward to, but it'll be interesting. I'll say, since we're talking about it now, the stipulation of the SmackDown guy who makes it to the finals and doesn't win gets fired. To me, I'm losing on purpose. I'm just like, hey, listen,
don't play my money like that.
Everyone has kids. What are you doing?
Play my money like that.
The best SmackDown person in the world will get fired.
Mm-hmm. And that's a possibility
as motivation. And you know what? It's similar to something that was done actually last year with Stephanie McMahon, but I'd never support these sort of weird stipulations that seem to be more detrimental than actually forward. But it is what it is. What
else is going on?
You got the Bar versus the New Day.
Yeah, Bar versus the New Day. It seems like a mulligan to me.
Yeah, it's by the books. SmackDown tag team match. There's like 5 SmackDown tag teams. New Day has faced them all multiple times.
Let them rock. I'm cool
to the other bludgeon returns.
Yeah, I'm cool with this. I think the bar is gonna win. AJ Styles, Samoa Joe.
We'll get to that on SmackDown, but yeah, that is a match now.
Yeah, that's a match. Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, we'll talk.
Like about this show, you're just like whatever. It's just
I'm sorry. I can't muster. And then like the news that Hulk Hogan is going to be showing up on it. It's like y'all just go to Saudi Arabia to just do fucked up shit. I guess that's where y'all get.
You know what? I'm not gonna pick you know what? I'm just gonna go with AJ Styles because it's whatever. It's clearly Samoa Joe is the substitute, but we'll get to that on SmackDown.
I'll go to Joe just because it's lit.
Oh my God! Imagine Joe wins on a show no one watches.
Yeah, that's it. On the show where they just do fucked up shit.
Yeah.
And then you got Braun Strowman versus Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. I'm sure Braun's going to win this. I know they're not going back to Brock this early. And then the Brothers of Destruction versus DX. I do not care.
Don't care. Listen, don't care.
I do not care.
But you know what? I'll be impressed if Shawn Michaels is out here doing his thing. Like he never, left. Mm-hmm. I'd be impressed with that, even though he's like 50-something years old. I'm not sure if he's still doing kip-ups, but if he manages to do one,
he looks in shape. He looks more in shape than Kane and Undertaker do with those fucking beer guts.
I mean, he looks in shape, but the bones, that's a different thing, man. The bones are probably rattling right now, man. Come on.
Absolutely.
He does his taunt that he does when he reaches the ring and does the flex shit. You don't know how many things are cracking when he does that. Like, come on. I'll watch the YouTube. I'll watch it via YouTube. How about that?
Yeah, sure. I'm not watching. I'm pretty sure that match is gonna be 50 minutes, so they can miss me with that. I got the before we get into the shows this week, I have to do a congratulations in there. Congratulations are in order rather for the Street Profits and Fabian Eichner. The Street Profits and Fabian went to Evolve last weekend, and they won the tag team titles and the big title, the Evolve World Championship, respectively. That's huge.
I recognize Fabian Eichner from.
He had new gear. He had new gear on.
He had new gear. He had hair from the last time I saw him. Listen, I think he's someone who's actually been impressive on NXT, but hasn't had a chance to showcase himself because NXT is pretty much an hour show. They're building towards something every 4 weeks. There's no time to really focus on these new guys, but I do think he's been incredibly impressive. He was in the Cruiserweight Classic, but he was eliminated pretty early. He's been featured on NXT from time to time. I'm happy for him. I mean, yeah, I'm happy. And the Street Profits too. I mean, you look at Angelo Dawkins, who's been in WWE for God knows how long now.
Yeah.
And him just being able, I think this is great because it establishes tag teams in NXT without having them muddy up sort of the tag team championship sort of thing going on right now.
Yeah. And obviously they're not a focus here on the show right now, because there's only just so many things you can do. But go ahead.
Tag team champions. You can say like, listen, this is a formidable tag team. These are someone who won the Evolve Tag Team Championship just a few months ago, and they're really coming together as a tag team. Like
Evolve is known as kind of like the workhorse promotion too. So you can give these guys and the thing is, here's the thing, like New Japan does excursions. WWE literally never sends their stars anywhere else. No. So this is good for learning for all of them.
I mean, quite frankly, all of this is surprising. All of this is welcome. All of this continues to help the sort of environment and the ecosystem of professional wrestling, especially like with Evolve. You never know where this could sort of come from in the future. This is just all very, very good. I mean, congratulations to the Street Profits. Quite frankly, it's
well
amazing.
Deserved.
Yeah.
Well deserved. I think that you don't have these guys just wrestling the Mighty every week.
Oh yeah. Come on, they are. I mean, I'm sure in like 2 weeks they're gonna wrestle the Mighty again.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? They do wrestle the Mighty next week on NXT. I think. But these are guys that they need to be moving up quick, and you got to put them in position. And I think that this is a great idea from the guys at NXT and Gabe Sapolsky from Evolve to do that. And I can't wait to see what happens next month, because Shane Strickland and Montez Ford will actually have a one-on-one match. Which should be incredible, because that will give that. I think they see so much in Montez that they would give him that match, and I think that's incredible.
The blackest main event in the country.
Oh, bruh. Shane's a former Evolve champion, and also.
Listen, there it is. This is great both sides.
Let's talk about something positive, and that is WWE Evolution. Did you like the show? Did you think that it was a good show?
I like the show. I like the show for the most part.
What do you mean for the most part?
For the most part, I didn't like the battle royal. I was just not. I mean, there are some aspects of it that were cool, but overall, I just didn't like the battle royal. I didn't even like who won. I was just like, all right, this is what we're doing with. But I think for the most part, it ended up being a show that, to me, going in, didn't feel like it had, just due of attention. But when you really got to those the high profile match with like Charlotte and Becky, which to me should have closed the show. Mm-hmm. It should have closed the show. I think just from the reaction, just from the moments created, just from the extreme emotion, vitriol, it's quite possibly the most brutal women's match we've ever had in WWE, I would say.
Absolutely.
And Charlotte almost broke her back.
turn that up for Charlotte having 2 match of the year contenders in 2018, and then taking a couple months off between all of them.
Taking a couple months off to that is hilarious. Listen. Let me look at the card again. Yeah, let's run down the card a little bit, because they started off with the tag team match between Trish and Lita versus
I was thinking of Alexis. This whole time.
Oh my God. Versus Alicia Fox and Mickie James.
Yeah.
I can hear you playing in the background.
I that was my Alexa that just turned on because I said Alexa's name.
Oh, okay.
Alexa, pause. That's how you turn it off.
The future.
My Alexa plays rain sounds when I go to sleep at night.
You know what? All for you, my guy. Come on.
I need peace when I go to sleep, man.
Listen, what tumultuous life are you living?
This is the greatest wrestling podcast of all time. I really liked the tag match. I thought it was really good. I thought it was really enjoyable with all the callbacks.
Yeah, me too. I thought it was incredible. There was a post-match sort of thing where I think both Mickie and Alicia Fox got very, very emotional, because Alicia Fox called this probably the highest profile match of her career to this point.
Yeah. And
someone who's like 10 plus years now in the business, and she's known as the longest woman, the longest tenured female competitor on the roster, other than probably Stephanie McMahon. She is probably in the history of the E. So it's kind of it's great to see that. It's great to see Mickie James, who's had history, both Trish and Lita, get back in the ring and do her thing there. It was great to see Trish and Lita, I mean, quite honestly, look just as good as they did in 2007, 2006 when they retired.
Yeah.
It was a great match, and even just what, I won't go into Raw. We'll talk about Raw.
Yeah, let's quickly go through this. Battle Royal was cool.
Battle Royal was cool. Love a couple callbacks.
Yeah. I love the Asuka Ember back and forth.
I love that. I love that Ivory stayed a long time. I just thought that was very cool for Ivory.
Yeah, because she got sent out unceremoniously. At the Rumble.
She was at the Rumble?
I mean, no, she wasn't in the Rumble. She wasn't, was she?
No, she wasn't at the Rumble. I think she. You know what? This arguably, considering that we haven't seen her wrestle since in the WWE since 2004. and her getting in the ring, still being in sort of really great shape, still being able to last as long as that she did. There was also a post interview with her where she just seemed grateful. They asked her like, "Hey, who are you a fan of in that ring?" She was like, "I'm a fan of everyone, and I look up to all of them because they're both incredible athletes." And she's always been someone who's just been a very high supporter of the women. Understand that women can do everything. Women that should get more time, even in her time in WWE. So it was great seeing her there. So Kelly, always fine to me, in my opinion.
Always fine. Always one of the finest. Always one of the finest.
It's just Michelle McCool and Tori Wilson and everyone sort of that. It was a great battle royal. Nia Jax ended up taking home the victory, which sets her up for another Nia Jax versus Ronda Rousey feud in the future. Are you looking forward to that? Would you have been more intrigued by an Ember Moon Ronda Rousey feud?
Yes, but I understand why they had to go back to it. There was no finish last time. And they had to get the belt off of Alexa. Right. And so I understand it. I think we'll get there next year. But I think you got to get that title off Ronda sooner than later. I do believe, and I guess we'll talk about it in the coming weeks leading up to the Survivor Series. Mm-hmm. She's good for visibility of the division, but bad for the actual competitiveness of it, in my opinion. Right now, I think we're running into the Oscar problem with her, but quicker because it's not a tape show.
And there isn't a lot of options for the women, quite frankly. I mean, there's one women's championship on each brand, and Ronda takes it. So essentially, you have the entire Raw women's division at a standstill as she's feuding with whoever. It just becomes sort of an issue there. I think, honestly, I don't know. I feel like, would it be a failure? Or not a failure, but because failure is a very triggering word. Would it be if Ronda suffers her first loss within her first year of being in WWE? I don't know how that necessarily looks.
Well, you don't have her lose. You put her in a triple threat.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, you put her in a triple threat with like Ember, Nia, and have Ember win, and then have that spinoff, and then have her go to Charlotte. You don't have to pin her. You could do like the Oscar shit where it's a bunch of smoke and mirrors. I don't think she's gonna lose. I do think she needs to get that belt off her though, because I think I don't know if I'm a hot take here. I don't know if I like her with it.
Like her with the belt. She lacks the hunger. I think if she had the belt and was an asshole, it would be much better. But I think just the entire story leading up to her winning the belt was the hunger and just the growth. And by holding the championship, this is like pretty much, I don't want to say it assumes that you've grown already, but you've reached a high level in the WWE. And it's the progression and the development that, that's part of the story in terms of just like coming in the WWE and making a name for yourself and do that. It's kind of all lost when you have the championship. Yeah. Because you're now the guy or the gal. And, it takes away from it. I think if she was a jerk, it would be a whole lot better. But we'll see how that goes. Maybe she turns heel next year. Who knows?
Yeah, I think she does. I think you have to kind of like double turn her and Charlotte if that's what they're going to do.
With the ladies coming up. I mean, with the ladies, what's going on in NXT right now, things may be hinting towards a Ronda Rousey heel turn sometime around Mania season, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, I'd be all in
earlier.
I'd be all in on that. I'd be all in on that. It worked for me, but Io Shirai and Toni Storm.
I like that match, but I thought it didn't go as long as it should have.
Yeah, it was a sprint, and I understand once you watch the show, you understand why. I thought that for a 10-minute match, they got their shit in, and it looked good, and Io killed herself to get Toni over, and I really enjoyed that. I think Toni could be as big as Sasha in Charlotte, and I think we saw that in Evolution.
I think the only thing that stops me from saying that is sort of the character of Toni Storm. that I don't think we've really got I think we're all invested in the look of Toni and just the ability of her. But when it comes down to connecting with sort of a character and a distinct personality, I don't know if she's fully there yet. But considering for the last 2 years we've known her in WWE, she's been in tournaments. And all we've got from her is tournaments and this is my name, I'm Toni Storm, I do this, I'm from, blah, blah, blah. And we don't really get the sort of background story. I think if we go to a television show, which I mean she is featured on NXT UK, we can get that sort of extra layer.
Oh, we definitely are. We definitely are. I think they had to have her win this in order to get that.
Oh yeah, I mean, but we're here. I'm just interested in where they go from here at Toni Storm. Quite frankly. It's like you win the Mae Young Classic, and then what? The winner of the Mae Young Classic last year got a women's championship match, but I don't think it's the same for this year. So it's kind of like, and then what?
I think that they should not air her losing the title tournament to Rhea Ripley. I think they should keep that off of those shows because she did face her in the finals. If they have her do that and have it be the Mae Young Classic match as far as the tapings go, I think that's a mistake.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think they should do that. I think that'd be a bad idea.
You know what? Because Rhea Ripley didn't actually lose to Toni Storm. So you kind of get a little argument of just like, but I'm still better than you. You didn't beat me in the tournament, or did she? Who beat? No, Io beat.
No, Io beat Rhea. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, I can see how they sort of maneuver it, but considering these are taped months ago and and now like she's won and you kind of have to like figure out how to work backwards from this. It's an interesting thing.
Next up on the card, we had the Riot Squad, the six woman tag match, Riot Squad versus Sasha Bailey Natty. I mean, it was just another feel good match that had a really good moment.
Match. It was just something. It was just very aggressive to me, and I liked it. I liked that Bailey draped herself over Sasha, so they wouldn't kill Sasha. I liked, even though like apparently like Sasha Bailey and Natalya were like kicking out of finishers like crazy. But I thought it was a very fierce match, and I think we all picked Sasha, Bailey, Natalya, except maybe Alexis. But,
I think Alexis said Riot Squad.
Yeah, but she picked a bigger winner in the next match.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was a good six woman tag team match.
Then next up, you had the NXT Women's Title match between Kairi Sane. This one shocked me, even though I Alexis said called it. It shocked me. Kairi Sane versus Shayna Baszler. It didn't shock me because of the win. It shocked me how they did it. I didn't think they were going to do that. It was a very Takeover-esque match. Also, they let them get their shit off. I think if it wasn't for Charlotte Becky, this probably would have been my women's match of the year.
Yeah, you know what? You probably would have been right because I really enjoyed this match. It feels like they're getting into the groove of working with one another so many times. This was really, really good, and I like the fact that it took an extra turn with oh God, what are their names?
Marina Shafir and Jessamine Duke.
Getting involved in the match, and now you have like a little, on NXT you have a sort of a female faction, which is something that we usually don't. We haven't gotten NXT in a long time since pretty much what's it, the Beautiful People or the Beautiful Girls or
the Besties, I think.
It was Summer, Charlotte, and Sasha.
Yeah, the BFFs or Besties.
Yeah,
I think it was the Besties.
I think it was the BFF. So I think it's, and then you listen. And it's Shayna Baszler, by the way. And she has two other tough chicks with her. So you kind of, it's an interesting development. I'm interested in how they follow up from here. I don't think they follow up on this set of NXT tapings.
Oh, no. Well, they don't have to. You just do some backstage stuff. I think they already shot the backstage stuff. I think
probably do a rematch.
Yeah, I think they're going to do the rematch in Los Angeles. I would not be surprised if Kairi got it back in Los Angeles. I think they wanted a title change on the show, though, because there wasn't going to be one. You needed to do a title change just to hype up the
actual show. Yeah. I mean, listen, I think if that's the case, someone's got to even the odds for Kairi Sane.
I think she's got a couple friends in mind. I think me and Yim tweeted out support, and so did EO, who is her best friend. So I think we could be seeing that.
I mean, that looks great for the NXT moving forward.
Absolutely. After that, we had Charlotte and Becky. We've already espoused our love of this match.
It was so brutal. I felt bad for Charlotte, that final spot.
Yeah.
Because it's clearly like the table, and then it's just the floor. And even though the floor is padded, you're hitting the floor hard. And she sold that shit like a motherfucker. I'll tell you that. Because I feel like it actually did hurt. I've been hurt. That looked like it hurt.
It looked so painful. And she sold. Listen, I said this on Twitter. Like, she didn't have to sell and do all the stuff she did for Becky to get her over, but she did.
Right.
And that was the example. And it's the same thing that I'd say that Roman did for Finn way back when. Mm-hmm. She gave Becky a lot in order to get her over and to basically pass the torch. And you got to commend Charlotte for that. She didn't have to do a lot of that stuff.
I also think Charlotte showed a lot in that match as well.
Yeah.
I think in the sense of being able to possibly win some fans over, it didn't seem like she would stay down, and she didn't stay down because she just was too. It played into the story of just like, you've done this to me. You've tortured me for too long. I'm not staying down. And even in the final moments, she tried her best to get up but she just couldn't. She just crumbled back to the ground. It was a strong last woman standing match. Mm-hmm. It was a strong effort by both women.
I just love I love the shit talk.
I agree. And you know what? If there is a way to blow off a feud, this is the best blow off for a feud I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
And up to the expectations of it all.
It felt final. It was amazing. I think that when you think of great women's matches, I think you put that up there. To me, it's second to Sasha Bailey. A lot of people are putting it over. I don't think it quite goes over, just because of just the landmarkness of that match in Brooklyn. But this is definitely probably my second favorite women's match of all time.
I like it. I really like it a lot. I don't know if it's my second of all time, but it's definitely like probably in the top 3. Like, it's really, really good. I think my second would actually be another Charlotte match. Maybe is it Charlotte Asuka? Might be Charlotte Asuka. You know what? I could tell Charlotte was in the game from the opening moments of the match, because when she's really in it, she's like, you can tell it's like a sprint. Like you could tell from her body language that she's actually in the match. She's not really like sort of walking around and doing anything like that. But yeah, I mean, she was in it. Then
the main event, I mean, less said about it, the better. I mean, it was solid. I think Nikki showed a lot. You could tell it was very practiced.
Yeah,
which is completely fine. I have nothing wrong with that. But it was like
they've been together. It better been practice. It's
I mean, there's not much to say about it. Like, I don't think that like a lot of Ronda main events are like really super good, or a lot of her title matches have been really good.
It depends on who she's with. But yeah, I would say you're right, because I don't think she's been with the right opponent as of yet. She has yet to, go up against any of the 4 horsewomen, and not to say like they're better than, everybody else in a sense, but they have when you get against those girls, it's like a higher quality. It's like it's a lot more stakes put into that match, or she hasn't come across yet. She's really just been facing Alicia Fox and Nia Jax and, Nikki Bella, and, no shake to them, but I don't think she's faced very true actual competition that'll give her a run for her money as of yet.
Or we'll give her like a really super solid match. I think Becky's going to be the test, but like Becky's definitely going to be the litmus test for her, where it's like, okay, now you got to face, the most popular. Listen, I'm saying it right now. They're going to boo Ronda out the building in LA.
I don't think they're going to boo Ronda in LA. I don't think they're going to boo Becky either. I don't think they're going to boo Ronda in LA. I don't know. You know the LA people more than I do. What's the feeling on Becky?
They're a smart crowd. You gotta remember there's gonna be fly-ins too.
This is true.
It's gonna be fly-ins. Like, it's not gonna be just a whole LA crowd. It's gonna be a bunch of people that fly into that show. So I think if it'll be mixed, if anything.
It depends on how this feud, and it's really only 2 weeks left for them to put this feud together. And this is the first match announced, the Becky and Ronda match, which I like. I like that it was the first match announced for Survivor Series. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think they're gonna boo her.
I do. I would be ready. Be ready for that. And that was Evolution, which I thought was like I gave the card like an 8 out of 10. Honestly, really good card. One of my favorite WWE cards of the year, honestly.
Yeah, I would say so as well. I hope if they do it next year, I hope they do it better.
Oh, for sure, they will. But from what we got this year, oh shit! If they improve on this, it could be one of the best pay-per-views of all time.
Yeah, and
honestly.
And also get out the Nassau Coliseum. My God.
Yeah, please. That shit looked very it looked iffy. It looked real iffy.
Turn the lights on. Come on, turn the lights on. They didn't use the real barricades, none of that stuff. I was surprised the announce table wasn't just a folding table. Like I was like, all right, come on.
They had them out there looking sad. They went outside. I'll admit they had them looking sad. Let's quickly get into the shows this week. Raw was. I didn't enjoy it.
No, I tuned out of Raw. Listen, a great opening package for Roman Reigns. I don't know if you saw it on your watch of Raw, but they had like a 3-minute to 4-minute opening package on just Roman Reigns.
Yeah, I saw it.
But other than that, man, like, let's see. I mean, I'm looking at the Raw clips now. We had Finn Balor versus Bobby Lashley.
Boring. And they were supposed to be and I had faith in them to not do that, like to not bore me. But
I think let's give them time. I think another match will do. I think this is just a setting. I think because they're anticipating they're going to have more matches, that they didn't put everything on the line in this match. Whereas I think probably if it was like a Seth Rollins, he would have just thrown everything to the wall. It doesn't even matter.
We'll see.
We had Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar making a rare appearance on Raw post Universal Championship loss.
It was for the bag.
I mean, it had to be for the bag. They had to carry with the way the Raw went down last week. It had to be for the bag. But we had a Braun Strowman versus Brock Lesnar confrontation, and Brock Lesnar got the best of it. And he's going to Saudi Arabia, and that's just kind of what we're going to see. We had an amazing, to me, the highlight of Raw was this 10-woman tag team match.
It was probably the most enjoyment I got out of the show. Well, the Seth promo and that were probably the most enjoyment I got out of the show this week.
To me, that 10-woman tag team match, when you add, first of all, I love all 10-person tag team matches, low-key favorite. I'm a very particular person. This is one of the particulars. 10-woman tag team match, Lita, Trish, Sasha Bailey, and Natalya versus the Riot Squad and Mickey and Alicia Fox with Alexa Bliss in the corner. I just thought fantastic. It's something that you sent people home, even if it's not even sent people home. You just left people with a great, taste in their mouth concerning the entire Evolution thing. Evolution was last night. It was historic. It was memorable. You bring them back the next night. You make the crowd even happier. It just, I thought it was amazing. I thought it meant a lot to Sasha and Bailey. As I learned via social media, and it was a good send off to Trish and Lita to me. Yeah, I agree. I'm sure they didn't anticipate working the next day. We're just like, all right, I guess. I'm sure Mark Carano was like, oh, yo, don't put that gear in the watch just yet. But yeah, that was something.
Listen. Not a lot going on. I thought the Lucha House Party getting called up was cool. They beat the Revival, who just can't get a break.
Just can't. They'll get a break eventually. Give them like 2 years.
Am I wrong to think that? And then you had the Seth promo, which was really good. I think you should keep Dean from talking for as long as possible. So they're doing that correctly.
I agree.
I think the stench of Crown Jewel kind of fuck with Raw. I'm not feeling okay with just the Crown Jewel stuff. Like I'm just ready for the show to be over.
Yeah, I think that's what everyone is. Everyone's really ready to gear up for the next, because this show is it's canon, but it's really not. Like these shows have proved to be like glorified house shows that they spent hours promoting on WWE television, and that none of the results have been anything noteworthy. And pretty much the only noteworthy match is going to be this Braun Brock match because of how it, the implications it has on actual Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
But otherwise than that, yeah, it's been holding up. It's been sandbagging the show. I mean, we can't even get, this Ember Moon and Nia Jax program that they got going on. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I saw Tamina. I was like, what is going on? Where is this leading? Are we in the midst of a Tamina push right now? I
don't like making Ember lose to hype that up. I wasn't a fan of that.
Yeah,
I thought she had a lot of momentum and they killed it on Raw.
There's some tag team stuff with Chad Gable and Bobby Roode.
That hasn't been interesting in months. Like Raw just isn't an interesting show.
Elias and Jinder Mahal. Elias is face now, so he's wrestling face style. That was a thing, and the show closed. The final match, Apollo Crews versus Dolph Ziggler. Before we got into, and that's when I was like, when they introduced DX and Brothers of Destruction's up next, I was like, that's what's closing the show.
Yeah,
I thought it was weird. I was like, what?
Yeah, I'm not cool with it. I'm not cool. Like, just get it over with. I'm ready. I'm so excited for Survivor Series build, and I know that it's like 2 weeks, and people are like, "Oh, it's only got 2 weeks." Survivor Series doesn't need multiple weeks.
It's the All-Star game. You don't even need to build up to the All-Star game. It's Raw versus SmackDown, and then you have a couple matches outside of that.
And that's all you need to know.
It's good enough. Trust me. It's going to be a long-ass show anyway.
Yeah.
The weekend is going to be great with NXT TakeOver. It's going to be great. But as far as everything leading up to Crown Jewel on Monday Night Raw, I'm not with it. Turn that down. Come on.
Turn it all the way down. SmackDown, on the other hand, really interesting show. We had seen...
I wasn't thrilled with SmackDown this week.
Hold on. It was an interesting show because we heard rumors that Bryan wasn't going to be on the show on a Crown Jewel. So we had to wait.
After that.
Yeah, we had to wait and see if he was going to show up and who was going to replace him. And of course, they gave away Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles for free on television.
What did you think of the match?
I thought the match was a really great 4-star TV match that I think they could have went a couple minutes longer, and I probably would have given it a 4.5, 5 stars.
I think if this was on pay-per-view, I think there's pros and cons to this. I think the fact that it was on TV, especially had AJ Styles' hometown, it added a lot to the match. Mm-hmm. I think, but the fact that it wasn't on a major pay-per-view and you have these commercial breaks that are in the middle of it, it kind of takes away from the intensity and the momentum of the actual match itself. Mm-hmm. So I'll go 4 stars on this match. It was weird to see Daniel Bryan tap out.
And I hated that because it's like, okay, so it's done.
Yeah. I was like, then what was that about?
Like I thought something screwy would happen, but then you have Joe come out afterwards. But you had to take Bryan out of contention. So I get it. He had to come out of contention, Meelz.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, yeah, it is what it is. I don't know what we'll get in December. There's no signs of December, but we're looking towards Survivor Series right now.
That's why you have that is why you have Bryan or AJ lose in Saudi. Give it to Joe. It shakes things up. It gives AJ a chase, gives Bryan a chase, and you put him in a 3-way.
Yeah, but then I also don't want to see Joe versus Braun. But I mean, it is what it is.
I think it'll be a great 5-minute match that will make way.
It'll be a sweaty match. I know that.
It's going to be 2 Hoss matches for those big title matches.
It would be something. But AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan, it went about, in terms of the actual SmackDown telecast, the entire segment program, all that went about 40, 45 minutes. And I'm going to be honest with you. After that, I kind of tuned out of SmackDown.
It was easy too. It was a lot of weird Crown Jewel stuff that they couldn't really promote anything because of Crown Jewel. Like they kind of lazily announced Nakamura and Rollins for a Survivor Series, which is happening. I've confirmed with somebody it is happening.
They haven't confirmed on the website yet, but apparently it is happening.
It is happening. They just
a match to promote. I'm with that. I mean, if Nakamura puts his working boots on, yeah.
Oh, it's Seth. He's got to, or else Seth is gonna run all over him. The New Day is the Brood thing was pretty cool. I thought, but I don't think it got a pop in Atlanta because
crowd. Why do you think it felt? I felt like, in my opinion, I was like, I don't think people remember the Brood.
It's too obscure now. I think people remember Edge and Christian over that. Yeah,
I agree. But they had the trick or treat street fight. I was waiting for that. We had Shinsuke Nakamura versus R-Truth for the United States Championship.
Whatever.
Championship?
No, it wasn't.
No? Okay.
No.
It was initially supposed to be Ty Dillinger versus Shinsuke Nakamura. I really
legit hurt.
Ty Dillinger literally only gets matches via Twitter. Like he has to like poke somebody on Twitter to get a match. It's the craziest shit ever. Like, my man, they don't remember he works there. They don't. Like, it's actually very wild.
Hey, hashtag y'all wanted him on the main roster.
But yes, this was probably a way more enjoyable match. R-Truth is really, you can put R-Truth in anything.
Hey,
at any time.
Match. We've seen this match like 100 bajillion times. It was again. You're right. Like, after that AJ Bryan match, I was like, I kind of tuned out. It was, it's a weird show when you have Crown Jewel coming up and you got to promote this show that they won't even say where it is.
They won't. They literally won't.
And then you had Becky Lynch's promo, which kind of was the main event. I skipped out on that tag match. I'm good on that.
That tag match was the most SmackDowniest of main events of all time.
Absolutely.
For a tag team main
it's the get Ray warmed up tag matches, and I'm cool with that. And then you had obviously you had Becky promoting the Ronda match. I loved Becky's promo here. I think it firmly
Ronda alive on the promo.
Yeah, but this promo also firmly entrenched Becky as a face. And I think people were confused, but here you go. She's a face.
Right. And I think, honestly, she should show up on Raw on Monday and smack up Ronda Rousey right to her grill.
Just straight slap her?
Slap the shit out of her. Just like that. I think literally that's what she should do. That's some badass shit. She's the man. I want to bet Becky Lynch, I'm the man. Is there anything else?
I think it's just let's get Crown Jewel out the way and let's be excited about WWE again.
Yeah, let's do that. They put the NXT the YouTube.
They put
where everyone
the trick or treat thing.
Say that one more time.
They put the Halloween trick or treat tag team matches up there, or the Battle Royal.
Yeah, they put up. Listen, this guy you see, and Drake Maverick's Robin. They've got the Mummy. Oh my God! They've got it. Entire thing. It's some sort of video package dedicated to it. So if you're on the WWE YouTube, you can find that there. I thought that was hilarious over the weekend. Any other news? Let's see.
One thing I will say, I need anyone who has WWE 2K19 to follow me on PSN, PS4 only, at Johnny5Fam. We're trying to start a league.
Ooh.
We're trying to start a league. We're trying to do this global. Yes. I need people to get on 2K19. Don't be afraid of me or Mark or Cyrus, because
Don't be afraid of Cyrus.
Don't be afraid of Cyrus. Or, I know that we're goats at the game, but you don't have to be afraid.
You don't have to.
You don't have to be afraid. Join the 2K19 league. We're trying to get it off the ground and do something really big with it. I've been wanting to, everyone's been like, oh, I'm going to get on the fucking game. Let's play.
Come on, let's go. Let's get it work. Come on. Oh, Renee Young is going to be at Crown Jewel. That was something.
I did forget to say that, but it's good progress. I know a lot of people are like, but why? They're trying to cover it up. I'm like, no, they're not trying to cover it up. I'm pretty sure they asked because I mean, with these things, you have to ask in advance, and I'm pretty sure they asked for her to be on the show in some capacity, and they allowed it to happen. So good for her. I think that's progress for her.
Good for her. She's gonna be the only girl flying with everybody else.
She's gonna be the first too. So I mean, that's even bigger.
That's even big, man. Come on. Yeah, I'm ready for Survivor Series. I'm ready for this league too. This league sounds fun.
Let's promote this league, bro. I'm ready for this league to start up. But yeah, I think that's. I want to do something special for Survivor Series. What do you think we should do?
Asking me on the spot. All right, what were you thinking?
I want to do like put together the best Survivor Series 5-on-5 of all time, and I want to have your 5, and I want to pick my 5, and it has to be. I want to put a year limit on it, but we can't reuse the same guys. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. Okay, so it's a draft.
Yeah, essentially,
it's a draft. All right. You know what? I'm with it. Let's set this up.
Actually, let's get a guest. Let's get a guest to do that. You know what? I got a homie. His name is Mega Ran.
Okay.
And I think that I think people know who he is. I think he'd be down to do that. I'm gonna hit up Mega Ran and see if he wants to get on the show and do that. Mega Ran, and let's get Emilio Sparks from Wrestle Rap to do it.
All right, let's get it done. Let's get it. Let's. It's fun. All right. This is gonna be amazing.
It's gonna be a great fucking episode. Let's do that for November. And yeah, for anyone out there. I know it's the 31st when we're recording this. Have a safe Halloween.
Yeah.
Please be safe. Please do everything safe. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, which is absolutely nothing. I'm not doing anything tonight. So
not a single thing, man. Come on. I am not doing a thingity thing.
So yeah, let's just keep it safe, guys. Thank you for listening to the A Show. Until next week, I am Justin for Meelz. Until next time, see you later.
Happy Rusev Day.